G'day, I'm Arion Light, founder of The Art of Living Awake and man passionate about living from my heart and creating from my heart. So this video comes as a response from a lot of contact I've had from you about wanting to know more about the Projects with Heart program. And because I'm falling in love with video, I thought I'd answer through video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a small taste of the 6 creation keys. So in this video I'm going to cover the first 3 creation keys, and in the next video I'll cover the next 3. And what I want to do is give you a chance to really take these away and apply them right now to your life and to your project. Some of them will bring things you already know, and some of them might really offer you new insight to your project immediately. But their real power lives in them as a whole, as a body of work, as a practice to apply to your project day in and day out. And it's through this daily application that their value is really used. And in the longer training, we really look at applying these 6 foundational principles in all areas of your project. So let's get into it. So the first foundation, the very source of Projects with Heart program, is the knowing your heart's commitment. This is not projects with mind. This is not projects from a to-do list. This is projects born of your heart. And this doesn't just mean that the project on the first day you conceived it was born of the heart. It means that we learn as a daily practice to source our actions from our heart. Now this means that we shift our relationship with tasks from simply things that we have to do to get somewhere to a moment-by-moment devotional offering. And this comes from this first principle, this first key to knowing your heart's commitment. And the simple way to describe this is that our heart, which is the word I use for the spirit or the soul, or that part of us that remembers who we are beyond our limited frameworks, that heart is the true volition of the project. We are not the creators of the project. It is a movement from within us, through us. You know, if you look at many of the great artists, they talk about, I am not the painter, I am not the musician, it occurs through me. And whether that's through a sort of spiritual framework like God moves through me, or whether it's simply through an understanding of the power of the human being when we give up our rigid little sense of self and we give over to something bigger. And so this first principle is the invitation to know the source of the project, and to each step of the project source your actions, your guidance from that inner commitment of your heart. It's like a river that wants to move through you. And what happened for me all too often was that I would connect with this heart and I would get a sense of a project, a book, a course, and a weekend away with my family that I had an inspiration for. And then, sometimes quickly, sometimes over time, my mind would come in and it would start to shape that project and take control of it. And it would start to believe that it now was this project. And so before long, that which was born in my heart and was a passionate expression of my love for myself and for others became a mental constricted to-do list. And then either I became a robot fulfilling on those things, or I lost my love for that project and I moved on to another one. And I'm sure some of you know that pattern of moving on again. And so this secret of sourcing your heart moment by moment through the project and knowing that source and bringing that into the actions, using that as a coach, is the foundation for having a project be a project of the heart. We practice this through stillness, through learning to know our heart and to listen, and to catch the mind hardening around our project, where we're going, what we think about it, and to release that and keep coming back to the source. I've worked with groups ongoingly over months, and this is always the key principle, is to source yourself from your heart. And this will keep each moment of the project, each stage of the project alive as a mystery, as an unknown. And that's what living from the heart is living in the mystery. Even if there's set outcomes, clear visions that we're going for, there is that moment by moment mystery that has life be the gift that it truly is. So that's the first principle, the first key that I'm offering you, is to know and source your project from your heart moment by moment. The second one is what the reverse of that, which is know who you serve. Every project is an offering beyond ourselves. It might simply be an offering of art for others. It might be a serving of people in your community. It might be serving the health and well-being of your community. It might be protecting the forests. It might be building a business to feed your family. Whatever it is, the project doesn't just live in your own heart. It lives in those you're here to serve. One of the biggest constrictions of projects of the heart is that because it arises in our heart as a passion, we stay there and we forget to move beyond ourselves and get to know who is it that we're serving. So in this second key, we look at who is it that you're serving? What is it that drives them? What are they passionate about? What is their deepest fears? What is their deepest hopes? And we learn to truly know their heart, so that when we bring the passion in our heart, it can meet theirs in a tantric union. Any project in my world is a tantric practice between the heart in me and the heart in other, whoever it is you're serving. And through knowing my heart and knowing their heart, that sort of alchemical meeting is where the project is born, where the power and the true service of the project is born. If it's just about the commitment in my heart, then it gets withered and constricted and I stay at all about me. And if I just know about their heart, then I forget myself and I become a slave. And so this tension between knowing the flow and the passion in my own heart and deeply listening to another's heart are the first two principles of making a project sustainable from your heart. And it's also a powerful project sort of principle for success. If you want a project to be successful, then know who you're serving, because obviously the more you know them, the more what you create will serve them, will appeal to them, and therefore your project is more likely to be successful. So that's the second principle, is to know who you serve, not just as a mental concept, but to know in your heart and to know them, to go out and interview them and understand them, so that you speak to their heart when you offer whatever it is that you offer. And when you are moved by, and your project is shaped by, a deep understanding of what actually serves them, not just your own ideas about them. So that's the first two principles, is to know and source your project from your heart, and then to truly know and source your project from those you serve. Now the third principle or key is to know your shadow. Now what is shadow? Shadow is that intriguing aspect of our consciousness that's hidden from our daily awareness. Shadow is often something we talk about as something that we're scared of, or to avoid, or to heal or fix. But our shadow is actually the rich, juicy, fertile ground from which our consciousness arises. And so the first part of this principle is to learn to love our shadow, and to recognize that our project will continually be revealing more and more shadow to us. The more we take on in our project, the more we risk ourselves and step outside our comfort and our known, the more shadow will reveal itself through the daily devotion of this project. And so if we do not know our shadow, then it takes us over and it runs us, and it shapes the project. One of the key ways that the project is taken over by shadow is the personal identification with the project. Our shadow will unconsciously have us relate to ourselves as the project. And so if the project is going well, we start to feel better about ourselves and create stories like I'm worthy and, oh, what a good person I am and what a difference I'm making. And so too, if the project doesn't go well, we start to make up the inverted stories. I'm not good, I'm not worthy. Now, they flip from one to the other, because obviously in any project there will be a good day and a bad day. There will be a day when the world opens up and says yes to you and your offerings, and other days where the world closes and goes, no, we're not interested. And so the more identified you are personally with your project, the more you will be personally affected by that ongoing rhythms of change that is normal life. And so the more personally identified you are with your project, the more the unconscious forces of your shadow will operate in your project. And that's when things start to occur like procrastination, sabotage, getting so caught up in the tasks that we become a workaholic because we've lost the true purpose and we've just become a robot doing the project. So that's the first 3 principles that I wanted to share with you. And as I said at the start, these are principles to practice and apply and learn from in the daily living of your project. And so in Projects with Heart, we expand on these. We look at how do we know our heart's commitment? How do we stay true to it over time? We look at knowing who we serve and finding ways to really look into their heart and to know them. And then we look at the beautiful adventure of seeing our shadow, laughing at it, crying with it, and gathering it in and learning from it. But beyond that, staying true to the project through its great many shifting changes. So those 3 principles form the inner foundation of Projects with Heart. They give you the training and the skills to bring alive the project of heart in yourself and for others. The next 3 skills, which I'll get into the next video, really look at the daily skills of creation, of how to know where you're going, how to know what actions to take, and when to take them. The practical, what I call the triangle of creation. So thanks for joining me with this next video, and keep your eyes open for the other one. Thanks.